Hello. Woo! Making yourself dinner. Yeah. Sounds scrumptious. Welcome, everyone. This is actually perfect music for Pluto in Aquarius. The same in Neptune in Pisces. Just giving you that vibe that just like, here you go. So welcome. Welcome, everybody. And thank you. Oh, Charlene, you made it. Hello. Uh, welcome, everyone. Come on in, grab a seat. Let's have a little chit chat about energies that are coming in and the changes and the transformations that we are about to undergo or that we are already in. Pluto is now in Aquarius. And right now, you might be feeling, and on YouTube, you might be feeling um, things are a little bit scattered, or you might be feeling scattered. Pluto, you got to, Pluto. Understanding Pluto could be a lifelong study. I think any of the planets, I think between Pluto and Saturn, they could be a lifelong study. But Pluto, because he is a disruptor, he is the ruler of Scorpio. So he's the ruler of the eighth house. And the ruler of the eighth house being Scorpio. So you got to think of what the eighth house is. And when you look into the eighth house has to do with um, commerce. It has to do with banking. It has to do with taxes. It has to do with sexuality and taboo and the things that we don't want to talk about. It has to do with boundaries and about deep seated emotions. There's deep seated emotions when we step into the energies of Pluto. And so this is what Pluto rules with, this is the energy of Scorpio of what it rules. Now it's gone into Aquarius. Aquarius, Aquarius doesn't want to feel the emotions, right? They don't want to go. They just want, this is coming into looking at the world in a different viewpoint, looking at the world where you thought you wouldn't go, or where you thought you couldn't find what it is that you wanted, and you didn't want to go there because that's not where you wanted to go, but that is exactly where you needed to go in order for you to find what it is that you needed, but you didn't want to go into that place or that area. Pluto is going to get you, and he's going to bring in, like, he's going to have you see these parts of yourself, and it's going to be frustrating. And that frustration is going to be the part that is going to hold you back. Pluto's going to be here for 20 years, right? Even though he's going to retrograde, this is the beginning. This is the beginning of the energies of disrupting that of our society, of humanity. So when we look at the 11th house, so you can Google this. You could say 11th house in astrology. The 11th house is the Labaha. The meaning of Labaha is gains. So the 11th house strongly indicates income and gains. It also stands for income, wealth, prosperity, sudden gains and profits, and abundance. The 11th house also shows if your aspirations and desires will get fulfilled. That's in Vedic astrology. The 11th house also is the house that governs. It is ruled by Uranus. Okay, it's also the co-ruler is Saturn. Now Saturn's no longer there. So Saturn, which has had power for the last 6 years, or 7 years, since it arrived in Capricorn, because it rules Capricorn, it rules Aquarius. It's had power. It's had this get up and go. It's had this real push. Saturn doesn't have a push anymore. Saturn is in Pisces. It's like, yeah, man, I've done all what I've got to do. You got to go over there. You got to go do your thing, and you got to figure out your shit. It's over there. It's over there. Go across the field. You'll find it. It'll be fine. You'll be fine. Just get out there and go do it. That's where Saturn is. Saturn's in Pisces for the next 2.5 years. And it's ruled by Neptune. And Neptune is there. So Neptune is getting a push of energy because of Saturn being in there. But Neptune is, this push. You got to think of everything that comes with Neptune. It's like, yeah, there's great spirituality and insight and trusting in your intuition and bringing that trust of the intuition, but it also brings in the propaganda, and it brings in, the laid back feeling. Oh, I can wait. I don't know if I should do it right now. What should I do? Now, if we look at where Pluto is, it is about being called, right? It's called the house of companions, and in fact, rules friends, gatherings of any sorts, association, and that the individual has. So here it comes into the social structures. This is where Pluto comes in, and he's coming in, and it's going to disrupt social structures. It's going to disrupt how we communicate, how we interact with one another. It's going to bring in a place where we really have to trust in ourselves and go beyond where we thought that we had to go. This energy that we are going to be feeling, this is going to bring in a lot of frustrations over money. We see it, we hear it. If you don't know anything about the banking system, or if you haven't heard anything about the banking system, well, you've been under a rock, and that's fine. You could stay underneath there. I don't know how well that's going to do when somebody steps on it. But here we are. We have this energy that's going to be bringing up, things to do with frustration with money and values, and what type of values you have, what kind of things that you care about. And it's going to put a twist on that. It's going to put a twist on it. And in that twist is going to be something like, ooh, what do you mean? This is a scenario of how when Pluto was in Leo. When Pluto was in Leo, okay, that was the end of World War II. Now, if you look at pictures of the ending of World War II, you saw people coming together. It was romantic. We wanted to build a family. We wanted to have structures, suburbia. This is Pluto and Leo. It is the heart. Yes, we're going to do this. We're going to create something great. It was the starting of the atomic family. Everybody wanted a picket fence. That's it. That was in Leo. Well, we're going to the opposite side of the street in Aquarius. And if you look at what's going on in the last 22 hours in downtown New York, it ain't harmonious. It is far from it. It is people like going after, oh, Trump, go to jail. Trump does this. Black Lives Matter. End of the white people, or whatever. It's like all of this crazy scenarios are popping up. That's not harmonious. That's not creative. That's not, where it's at. It's like this energy is on the total opposite end. And Pisces, or Pluto, is coming in and disrupting this of our society, getting us to look at things in a way that we never looked at it before. Think about it. The last time Pluto was in here was in 1777. Okay? Before then, this is where a group of men got together and decided that they no longer wanted a king. Society was never ruled without a king. It had emperors, and it had kings, and it had rulers, and it had Genghis Khan, and it had all, but it did not have a place where it was ruled by voted electives without a king. There is parliament, right? But nothing like this has ever happened since within the Greek time. And then came 1776 and 1777, the Revolutionary War. We are going out there to fight. We are going out there to create something new. We're going to be a part of a new type of society and create that new society here in our new world. Never been done before. Other people, and it was only a handful of people. Only a handful of people. And they're coming together. And some people are like, okay, what's wrong? Come on, just, it's fine. It's okay. Just keep going. I like being a sheep. Bah. I'll follow over here. I don't want any disruptions. Well, that's not what Aquarius does. Aquarius is like, you want to be a sheep? Well, you can go over there and be a fucking sheep. I ain't going to be a sheep. I want to create something new. I want to create this energy that is going to bring in something that is disruptive, something that is different, something that is unique. And along with that, we have Mars. Finally, Mars. Mars is going to be finally leaving Gemini. But it's going into Cancer. So that means there's this emotion that's coming in. Aquarius doesn't want to have emotion. I got an Aquarius daughter. It's like, yes, she is emotional. Like she's more emotional than me. But it's like, no, 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 no. What are you bringing all of this emotion around me for? That's not what I want. So this emotion is coming in of a world that wants to have something. They want to grab on to something that's no longer there. So here we are going to be demonstrating the behavior of newness and motivation. This is where we are going to be discovering things to do with science, new science. And we've just gone through where we don't want to trust science, right? But this is where the craziness comes in. It's what you think you can't trust, you're going to trust. There's going to be a trust there. And the things you thought you could trust, you can't trust. It's going to do this little flip where you thought there's no way I can go to that place to find a better life. But it's going into that place because in that place is the contact of the people you got to work with in order for you to create a higher evolutionary energy so that you are able to create that of what you want. It is pushing out where you've been wanting to be very cloistered. It's pushing out into a place where you didn't want to go or be or do. But it's in doing that, it's going to get you to where you have to go. It's going to create what it is that you're wanting to create. This is going to bring in the affiliation. This is going to be political gatherings. This is going to be creative association. We're going to see crazy congregation of churches. This is going to, I think, when it comes to religion, this is going to make some people go very radical over the next 20 years. Totally radical. And you're going to see that radicalness coming out because they want to grasp onto something. Oh, it's the end of times. I mean, they had that one spaceship that was just in. I mean, the Pentagon was talking about the spaceship that was in our solar system. What was it called? Amagua, Oyamagua. Oh my gosh. But it was I can't remember. And it was a cylinder and it was very rocky and it came in around 2021 and it was in our solar system. And it was it actually turned every 8 hours and it had a flat surface, so they knew it wasn't an organic substance. And it came into the solar system right when Google, coincidence or not, I don't believe in coincidences, but anyways, started up their mass computer. And so it was almost like this energy was coming in to check on its baby. What's going on with my baby down there in that new computer? So Google has this computer, this mass computer that was set up and it is now running. So we have that. That's very Aquarius. That's very, Aquarius comes in with that eccentric energy. But the thing is with Aquarius with this energy also has to come real. The thing is that with this Pluto coming in there, it wants it. You have to have a connection of realism. You have to have a connection of the humanity because the humanity has to come in. There is this part. Just hang on. I was just reading something. A large portion of the effects it creates in our lives are the associated with other people. So how we are associating with other people is going to be important, and it's also has to do with economic and our economic benefits from our jobs and how we are um, benefiting from the work that we're doing. And is there a benefit with that? And there's a financial energy that comes in with it because of Pluto being the ruler of Scorpio, and with Uranus, which is the ruler of Aquarius in Taurus, about values and sustainability and what that sustainability is. But that energy of AI is very Aquarius. It's very out there because Uranus is very out there. It's very eccentric. It's very electric and wanting to bring in that electrical energy into our being, and we will be feeling like the surges of electricity, the surges of this um changes that are going to be coming between now and I think next week. It's going to be feeling very topsy-turvy. I mean, the world is going to be feeling very wonky, and we're going to be trying to figure out our way as we are meandering through this world at this time. We're going to be trying to figure out how we are able to get through things. And that's where it comes into, is like it's our focusing. What are we focusing on? How are we creating those connections that we are going to be needing in the coming in our coming days? And some of the connections that um it's going to be so important. Some of the connections that you think are going to be some of the connections aren't even going to be the ones that you think are going to be the connections. And I think each sign of course, it- this is a generalization. Each sign is going to be having different tasks or different issues when it comes to doing these things. Like for me, I know for when I look at the basis for Scorpio, I mean, it comes to really being honest with the emotions and coming in with my emotions. And Scorpio is one of the one sign that doesn't deal with their own emotions. They will push their emotions down until something triggers them and they lash out, you know? Um, when you look at Aries, Aries has to connect where they didn't think they needed to connect before. It'll be very important for them to reach out and connect with different groups and communities in order for them to get their work done or to get what it is that they need. Taurus, it has to do with your values and how you look at your values. This is your values in um how you find the stability within your own world and how you are creating that stability within your own world. And it might be that you might have to reach beyond the values of your values and really get into the depths of those values. Where Gemini, it's really reaching into a higher self and looking at those higher realms of who they are and how they interact with one another. And I think with Geminis, it's really going to be a connection and how they are connecting with that because they are there is that intellect with Geminis and connecting and questioning and wanting to learn. So there is that energy that's coming in of saying, okay, how am I going to learn this? How am I going to connect with one another? How am I going to be able to communicate? And that's going to be, part of it. With Cancer, it's like I want to bring in the feelings and the emotions of it all, but unable to. It's for Cancers, it's really like this feeling of stability and wanting to have a basis for the world, to have a basis for themselves. And here comes with this coming in, it's going to have us really look at how we are going to connect with the boundaries and really putting in the boundaries that we need to put into our lives. And the boundaries are going to be important for the Cancerians, right? And bringing those boundaries in and around in what they are doing. And as we're going into the Leos are, Leos, it's the interaction. It's really the interaction and acceptance of those around them and even those that are just like them because sometimes Leos don't like other Leos around. Lions aren't very good with other lions, you know. So it's try not to make people to be like them, accepting the uniqueness and the weirdness of others and not get overly emotionally involved. That's going to be a big one for Leos. Not to get overly emotionally involved with how somebody is and being able to step back and just allow that craziness to evolve within that person to how they are and not take on that responsibility of it. Where Virgos, I think, are going to have a total fucking upset because it's like they're the control freaks and they got to learn to have they got to learn to not control that. In other words, if you're constantly cleaning a spot that the cat goes, and messes it up or knocks it off, so stop cleaning it, kind of thing. So Virgos, are going to have this where they want everything in a certain order or want everything into a certain place. It's not you're going to have a lot of disruptions because you'll be wanting to have things to be done in a certain way, in a certain manner. But this is a freeing of the mind. It's letting go of that so you don't have to control it anymore, right? And let it go. And that's going to be very difficult for Virgos. And as for Libras is, we're coming into a lot of emotion. Libras are great with friends. I think that they're going to be coming into um a a, a f- a better time within their lives, but I think that they really have to come into a connection with them with somebody personally, coming in with that personal. I'm done with that crap. I'm working on releasing the OCD bullshit. Exactly. And Libras, it's an emotional one because Libras are relationships. They're Libras have great friends. They have a friend here, have a friend there. They're social. They like to have people around. They like to have their friends, but it's almost where they to take the next step of saying, "Yeah, I want to create something with somebody." It's great to have a relationship, but that relationship has to continue after breakfast with Libras. Sometimes it's a hard one for Libras. Scorpios, as I say, it's an emotional one. It's getting back in tap with those emotions, with those parts of ourselves, and not submersing them into the depths, and allowing people to say, "Hey, you know what? I'm having a crap ass day," or, you know, sometimes things are feeling topsy turvy because Pluto's going to be squaring for the next 20 years everything that's in their sign. So if the thing is that with the fixed signs, I mean, we've already had quite a crazy time already, but with the fixed signs, it's this energy because I mean, okay, let me explain. With the fixed signs, so we're looking at Aquarius, Taurus, um, Scorpio, and Leo. So the four signs, those are four fixed signs. Okay, Leo, an opposition. You're having an opposition with that of Pluto. So that means that, anything that you want, it's going to be the opposite. It's an opposition. You want to go one way and it's going to go the other. So you have to come in with a mutuality to work with it. Okay? The air signs are going to trine that air. They're going to trine it. So trines, that means that it's going to be a mutuality of how we're going to be able to work with certain things. So being able to work things out, there's going to be somewhat of a communication. With that of a Taurus or a Scorpio, we're going to be squaring it. So there's going to be a square to this energy. And that square is going to bring in a disruption of really coming into that intersection and saying, okay, you know what, maybe I need to take the time in order for you to go forward. So when we go back and we start looking at our values and we start looking at the things that are going on in our life, okay, I got to take a step back. I got to really tap in and not emotionally bypass or spiritually bypass my emotions, and really be honest with them. Be honest with, okay, yeah, this is a hard day. This is, that really pisses me off when you say that. Instead of, no, yeah, whatever, whatever. It's like allowing for you to say that. Allowing yourself to say, yeah, that I don't like. I don't really like that attitude. That really bothers me, that I get emotionally overwhelmed with that. And being able to have that conversation is going to be a big part, especially for Scorpios and for Tauruses as well. You know, then we have Sagittarius. Sagittarius, you can't come out and look pretty all the time. It's the intellect, it's the higher mind. That means you got to really look at what's going on in the back room. What's happening over there? What is it that needs to have that fixing? Because you can look fabulous and great. Aquariuses can come out and look so beautiful, yet you don't know that they just had some crazy thing, or maybe they're going through some addiction shit, or they're going through some medical issues or whatever. But it's something that needs to come to the forefront in order for it to get resolved, in order for it, for that chaos not to be so chaotic in their life. And Pluto will bring that forward, will bring that up, right? So here we have all these different signs, and then we go into Capricorn. Capricorns, baby, you've had it for the last 15 years. You've had the chaos for the last 15 years. And even though you just sort of lived through it and tried, it's like now you're here to rebuild your foundation, to look at how you can solidify and build a stronger foundation. Your ruler is gone. Your ruler is in Pisces. He's on vacay. He's just like, yeah, man, you figure it out. I've been there. I've tried to show you the foundations. Now it's up to you to rebuild them and look at them. And that, that's going deep inside your own self and saying, okay, this is really what I truly desire. Because Aquarius is your 12, when you basically look at where Capricorn is for the first house, Aquarius is the 12th house. It's like, wow, yeah. There's a lot there. There's a lot to dismantle. And for Aquariuses, this is looking at your truth, your social, your emotional self, as you're coming into your uniqueness and individuality and embracing that emotional self, allowing yourself to be vulnerable in times that maybe you don't want to be vulnerable. It's like, no, I don't want to be vulnerable. And going back to Capricorn, where I said it was the 12th, it's actually the second house for where Aquarius is. Sorry. Because in Pisces it's the 12th, sorry. But it's still about values. It's about your values. It's about putting in those values of what it is that, yeah, that's the brand of coffee I'm going to drink. I'm not going to drink any other brand of coffee. This is the brand of coffee I'm going to drink. This is the perfume I'm going to wear. This is the cologne I'm going to have. I'm only going to drive Fords, or I'm only going to drive Dodge. I'm not, I'm not going to go over there. That's, the buck stops here kind of thing. So this is really finding that uniqueness for you, Capricorns, within it all. Capricorns, I know at the end here, there's a lot of letting go. Capricorns will be letting go of things that they never thought they'd let go of, or walk away from things that they never thought they'd walk away from. And a lot of endings. So Capricorns are going to be coming to a lot of endings with things. So I had to jump back to them. But Aquarius is going to be coming into that of their own emotional self. Feeling that emotional self, allowing them to feel that of what they need to feel. And as they are feeling it, stepping into their truth. And Pluto, it's like Pluto has layers upon layers upon layers upon layers of discovering things, of working with things, right? So when we look at Pluto, Pluto is the one where, let's say you got into an accident, all right? And you're going to sue the other person because, but, all of a sudden it's like part of the accident, right? Same for caps. Sorry, Kyle. This is what, he doesn't like Fords? Kyle doesn't like Ford? Or is it Dodge? Was he a GM man? He could drive that too if that's what he wants. So when it comes to I lost my train of thought. Okay, the accident, coming to an accident. So this is what Pluto does. So Pluto looks at all the different things that have to do with that accident. So you might think it's that other person's fault. They ran into you or whatever. But it could be that all of a sudden, maybe that person in the other car, their brakes didn't work. So it's a manufacturer's fault, right? Because their brakes couldn't stop at the stop sign, right? So their brakes were faulty. And then you could go back from the brakes being faulty. Well, who put the brakes in the car that day? What day were they put in? Who was that person on the line who did that in that car? Maybe they had a off day. So that's the type of layers. Okay, that's just a for instance, right? Nah, he will drive anything that runs. It was about the ending of them and stuff. Oh yeah, there's endings. That's why, with Capricorns right now, you're seeing a lot of endings, walking away from things. Um, a lot of things that are no longer in alignment. Could be a friend, could be whatever. It's like that doesn't work for me anymore. I'm not doing it. And the other thing is, like, you say that he drives anything that runs. This is where when Capricorns have to look at their values. It might be like, yeah, I'll drive anything that runs, but it's also looking at, no, I don't want to drive anything that runs. I want to drive something that I like, something that feels good. Allowing yourself to come into that part of the Taurus, the Taurian, the Uranus part, that I want to have that. This is what I like. I want heated seats. I want to have a heated steering wheel. Yes, these are the things you might not think about it before, but now it's coming into, you know what? This is what I really want, because that's going to help to build the foundation of the new world that you want to live in. It's like saying, I want to have any type of refrigerator or what have you. And it's like, no, I want this type. This is what I want, and this is what I want in it. It's starting to be specific to build that. It's not just, oh, here I go. I know where I'm going to go. It's like, no, I'm going to go there, but this is what I need to go there. This is what I need to create it. And along there, that means there are people, places, and things that are no longer in that alignment in order for me to live the way I want to live, in order to create that foundation that I want to create. That's what it is. And that's what Pluto goes. And if you don't want to do it, Pluto's going to push your buttons and get you to be, if you are frustrated over something, why are you frustrated? Why are you frustrated? What is that frustration that is coming up in your life? For Pisces, it's about communication. Not being all Piscean, yeah, whatever. It's about coming out and having a complete communication. A statement. This is the way it's going, and having that communication is going to be very important, especially in how they are connecting with others. So communication is going to be a key part, and not and being grounded and staying in the groundedness of it all. It is a lot of change. It is where you think it's going to go one way and it won't. It's going to go a completely different route. Recently, a Japan, some scientists landed I don't know. Anyways, on an asteroid passing by, they landed an aircraft on there. And with that aircraft, they got samples from this asteroid, brought it up, and they found parts of RNA on that asteroid. That's the craziness. Things that we're going to be finding where humanity is going to be wanting to know what is humanity. And here they found niacin and vitamin B3. Was it B3 or B12 on there? Parts of building RNA, which is a very crucial part of us being human, is our RNA. It's what feeds to be a part of who we are. So these discoveries that we're going to be finding out over these next 20 years are going to be evolutionary and revolutionary, because that's what Aquarius is. We haven't lived this before, not for over 248 years. And so we're in a time that is unique. We're in a time that is transformational. We're in a time that is going to bring in a spiritual revolution of how we are going to stand up and evolve and create that uniqueness in order for us to find that connection and community that is going to be so important upon our journey over the next 20 years. I'm just thinking I'm going to be, by the time Pluto leaves Aquarius and goes into Pisces, I'll be heading into my 80s. Holy fuck. Think about that. Think about where you're going to be in 20 years and that journey. And so my journey, it's not the way I would be thinking as if I'm 40, right? This is a whole different journey that I'm looking at for my own self and my own uniqueness. And Stephen will be in his late 80s. So where we want to be, what does that look like? What is that connection, that communication, that peace that you want to be? And as you want to create it with Pluto, with that uniqueness, right? So Pluto being that unique one. And that's going to be the key to this all. Just one second. You're going to find so many articles out there on Pluto. Because when they discovered Pluto, it was in 1930. So it was during and they thought it would be the next they thought it would be like Jupiter, right? And so for Pluto and where it was in the 30s, it was, the thought, they didn't give it much thought. And same astrologically, they didn't give it much thought. Pluto didn't come into a lot of astrology till after World War II. And then it was starting to give, more thought to what Pluto was. And the connections that Pluto had with the other planets, right? So it is a transformational energy, because we got to think what happened when Pluto entered Capricorn in 2008. So, and it was the disruption of the economy, and now as he leaves, it is the disruption of the economy times 100, because it's going to be a lot worse than what it was when he entered to when he leaves. And we don't have Saturn as that push right now. Saturn will just say, hey, it's just over there, go figure it out. And that's where we are. You got to figure it out. And how you figure it out, that means you might have to go to that person that you didn't really like, or that person that you didn't really want to connect with, because they live over there. But that person that you need to connect with is that person that's going to help you to get to where you need to go, to that next energy level. So whew, you thought the other time was crazy. You're gonna find more crazy. And those who came on, when I looked into the next 5 years, I mean, the evolutionary changes in the next 5 years are going to be great. I know the financial crash is right happening right now, but I don't think for the banks, I don't think that anything, I don't think it's really going to, they're going to try and prop up as much as they can, but they won't be able to prop up. It's going to, I think next year you're going to see it when it's going to fall. When it comes to the banks and stuff like that, a lot more of it's going to fall. And it's things that are happening between Putin and Xi um, are unique, and the agreements that they are coming together to make, they're creating and making something that is evolutionary and different. We haven't seen that before. So it's like, where you think, oh, this is crazy, this is whack, they can't do that. They're bringing in something that is crazy and whacked that we haven't seen before. Will it stay? Will it not? We'll see. Time will tell. So, yeah. So we're heading into a whole different world. We're out of the lobby and we're in the room. And now it's a discovery of what's in the room and how big it is. That's the next thing. So we're out of the lobby and in the room and discovering how big the room is and where all the light switches are. That's going to be a next one. I think a lot of people are going to be we're going to hear a lot of craziness when it comes to religions and people freaking out. That's going to be um a big thing. And um yeah, there's going to be some really craziness. I'm going to leave it at that. So, over the next few days, just allow, if you're feeling frustrated, take the step and find out, why am I feeling frustrated? What is that frustration? What is it that I'm feeling overwhelmed with or upset with? Sometimes you have to sit with the frustration for a couple days to really figure out why you're really frustrated. What is that aggravation that's coming in? So allow yourself to do that. Write it out, moodle it out, whatever you need to do. My spring sale is still on. So readings are still on for $100, and it's going all the way till Easter, which is the second week in April, I believe. And then they're gone. Then they're goodbye. It's like, when I look at a lot of things that have happened to me recently, from my Facebook changing to even my website, even websites. I think websites are another thing too, right? I was today, but I have a 2-day trade show, and for a lot of things, I am a very last minute. I work the best under pressure. Ah, that's the thing. I just have to say, Shar, what you think is going to change. So, you're going to find that, because because you think you work better under pressure, you're going to find that the energies that are coming in for you, especially with Pluto across the street from you, that you're going to find that you're going to have to actually be a lot more organized and more planning and more forthright in what you're doing, because otherwise you're going to find things not come together as quickly as what they have been coming for you before. And Pluto will fuck you over. Pluto won't kill you, but Pluto will make sure that, okay, you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. It will fuck you over. And Pluto across the street from you, oppositions are bitches, man. I got Uranus across the street and I got Pluto squaring me. I've had Saturn squaring me for the past 2.5 years. So now, fucking Pluto for 20. Um, and Uranus across the street. So this is, and you got a Uranian square your sign too. So Uranus is going to not Uranus is going to put a curveball into whatever you're going to do, because he's going to say, oh, you think you're going to do it that way? Well, I don't like it. You got to try something new and different and unique. You got to try something unique and different in a way that you never thought you would do it before. You can't be doing it the same old way, because Uranus and Pluto aren't going to let you do it. And then a quincunx coming in with Mars. Quincunx are you can't see things fully. You think it's going to be emotionally fine. It's like, nah, it's not going to be emotionally fine, because it's quincunx in Pluto and Aquarius. It's going to be like, nah. You think you got everything on the table? Nah. Do you know what to do with them? No. So it's really allowing yourself to do things differently. So if you thought that, let's say, here's an example where somebody says, "Oh, I always I don't know, I go to bed at 10 and get up at 6 and my life is shit and blah blah blah." Stay up to 6 and wake up at 10 at night. It's changing things around the way that from what you usually do. And then you're going to find a more cohesive way of living. So, because that's the way Pluto works. That's the way Uranus works as well. So if you think that I've always done it this way, it's always done this way. Okay. It's like I've always put things in this way, and the cat comes over and shoves it off. Then it's like, okay, why do I keep putting things on that shelf? I won't put it on the shelf anymore. I'll wait till the cat dies. I'll put it back up on the shelf. So that's where the energies are. So, So anyways, there you guys go. I'm going to love you all. I'm going to send you out so much love, and may the Lord and Lady watch over and bless you in all that you say, be, and do. And definitely, if you don't want a reading, tell a friend. Mama wants to give a reading. I will have time on Saturday. Will not have time on Sunday. And yeah, buy them now, because I know for the next few weeks my time is getting thin. The veil has lifted. Blessed be everybody. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.